Welcome to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Hello, Kevin.
What's going on, Matt?
Came in hot there. Thank you for braving the Arctic conditions outside. The whole 1 inch of snow, I think we have.
Driving through the blizzard of 2026 to get here.
The snow started about 3 hours earlier than expected, which, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, we're supposed to get it in 2 waves. We'll get this short one, and the big one's going to happen this evening, go all night long.
Cool. I love it. I like snow. If it's going to be cold like it is, I'd rather have snow.
Yeah, coming over here, there weren't too many people out, which was nice for a change.
I'm going out later to get pizza. It's my refeed meal, my cheat meal.
Make sure they're open.
Been super strict. Yeah, I got to call ahead, make sure they're open, and get some pizza and brownies later.
Okay.
I'm gonna pig out.
Well, I went to Schnucks this morning.
How was it?
It was fine. It was pleasant. No real issues. All the mayhem took place last night.
Yeah.
Because that's when I got my pizza.
Oh, okay.
So that's when the mayhem was going on.
Was the parking lot cleared yet, or are they just letting it go?
It was just starting to snow when I was there.
Okay.
Because it was this morning.
That's always annoying when you go to try to park and everybody just parks however the hell they feel like it because they can't see the lines.
Yeah, well, I get it. But, I was in there walking around, and the meat department was demolished.
Oh, okay.
No meat, which I thought was funny. I wasn't looking for meat, but it was just funny to see that there's bread, but the meat is gone.
Well, they're taking RFK Jr.'s upside down food pyramid.
I guess, but I'm wondering, are you going to be snowed in for maybe a day?
Maybe, if that.
And out of all the things you can get,
meat. Hope you have a gas stove or oven that you can cook it on.
Do you have nothing? Although my son brought up a good point. He said that, most people will eat fast food all week long.
That's true.
So when they're getting snowed in, they may actually not have anything.
They freak out. Yeah.
He asked me how the toilet paper aisle was, and I said it was holding up.
Yeah, Caitlin went out early. She went grocery shopping a day early just to avoid the crowds, not to try to hoard food or anything. She just didn't want to deal with the crowds.
Sure.
But she said the Walmart pickup at Walmart is booked solid for 2 weeks. I guess people think we're getting 10 foot of snow and you're not going to be able to get out of your house or something. I don't know. But whatever, man.
Well, we're supposed to get anywhere from 7 to 12, although I have a friend of mine who lives just south of us, but in the St. Louis area, and they're predicting 15 for his area.
But we had, what did we get, like 2 feet last year at one time? That big snowstorm we had last year?
Oh, it wasn't that much.
Wasn't 2 feet?
No.
A foot, maybe?
I don't even think it was that much, but yeah.
It was enough to cause havoc, though.
Oh, yeah.
But still, it was the next day, you're fine. Just shovel your driveway and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, the difference is with the extreme cold that we have, which is going to last all through this next week.
Yeah, I think the highest temperature is going to be 34, if that.
But it's single digits every night.
Yeah.
Monday night, I think the equivalent wind chill is somewhere around minus 16.
There's going to be a lot of babies born by the end of next year.
Possibly.
Everybody's going to be snuggled up in bed this week and,
nothing else to do.
Yep. Might as well make babies. Which, whatever, man. Be fruitful, multiply, have babies.
Yeah.
No more for me, thank you. After June, after Jack gets here.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. It's not up to me, honestly.
You have a tendency to break your own rules. So.
I'm a willing participant. But, gotta spread keep digging my gene pool deeper, I guess. I don't know. Whatever that term means. My family tree, how about that? Add more branches to my family tree.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah.
There you go. It was we had an interesting week at work, didn't we? We had a kind of a broken up week. We went to a really cool seminar. Would you call it a seminar? meeting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could tell you exactly what it was called.
Yeah.
Leadership at 12 O'Clock High, a workshop in adaptive leadership behavior presented by Harvey Goldberg.
And this is one of your favorite movies. Now one of my favorite. It's probably in my top 10. And we watched this a couple weeks ago, not knowing that this was coming up, right?
Right.
And then this popped up, that this thing through work, and we signed up to go, and they took the movie 12 O'Clock High and broke it down to different scenes, cut out a few different things here and there, and really talked about the leadership lessons that are in this movie, where they didn't set out to make a movie about leadership. This was just documenting this bomber group in England at the beginning of the war, World War II. And it was filmed in, what, 1949?
Yes, 5 years after the war.
5 years after the war. And now it is pretty much mandatory viewing in the, Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, Harvard, Yale business schools.
West Point.
It's
taught in ROTC. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a great movie. There's a lot of really good acting in it. It's well written. It's a cool story. There's characters that are kind of an amalgamation of multiple real life people and it's based on a true story, which is pretty cool, man.
That was the only thing on the presentation I wasn't really aware of, and I forgot to take the time to make those connections, because I don't know that was actually based on specific characters.
Yeah. He said that General Savage was like 4 different people combined into one, but I don't think so.
Right. And they were comparing the one pilot to Paul Tibbets.
Yeah.
Who did the atomic bomb over Hiroshima. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that that's accurate.
The gunner. Who was the gunner? The sergeant that kept getting busted down.
Oh, McElhaney.
McElhaney, that he became like the second best tail gunner or whatever. Yeah. In the war.
Credited, I think, with, was it 84?
Something crazy.
84 shoot-downs?
Yeah. But we'll get into that, the NCO connection with this. But this was mostly an officer in command movie. You started out with a colonel in charge of what was it? Do they call it a bomber group?
It was a bomber group, 21 bombers.
21 bombers.
B-17s, each one had a crew of 10.
So that's 210 men total? 21?
Yeah.
Times 10? Yeah, okay. And then that's not counting the ground crew that takes care of them. And you have different officers in different positions. But what is the big problem at the beginning of the movie, Kevin?
Well, the big problem is they weren't accomplishing their mission.
Right.
And they were being quickly known as the hard luck group because of things that were happening. They were, and one of their missions, which led to really the outset of the movie, was the last mission they did. Out of the other 2 groups, they were fine. They come back with no casualties, and they come back losing 5 planes. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what started the wheel going on what's really going on with this particular group versus others.
Yeah, so they were under the microscope of what's wrong. Why are they losing so many planes? How come they're not hitting their target? And the conclusion that they came to was it's obviously a leadership problem. Something's going on because the other bomber groups are coming back whole or have hit their targets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to lose some planes, but not 5 at a time or 10 at a time, whatever.
Right, because losing 5, that's 50. And the replacements was 3 planes. Yeah. So they're already short 2 planes out of their group for the next mission.
Right. And the next mission comes like the next day. Like, we got to go. So I started reading the book, Bomber Mafia. I saw it at Half Price Books, and I was reading about this, that, these are the B-17s in the movie. The follow-on plane was the B-29, B-25.
Well, in the European theater, it was the 24, right? The B-24 Liberator.
The Super Fortress.
Oh, that's B-29, but that was
Yeah.
used in the Pacific Theater.
Okay. But they didn't have enough fuel capacity to do longer range missions and all this sort of stuff. But they came out with the scope. This is kind of what the book Bomber Mafia is all about. The invention of this bombing site. But that's kind of a different story. So the original colonel, what was his name? It's on the back there.
Yeah, the original was
Davenport, is that it?
Yep, Colonel Keith Davenport.
So Colonel Davenport, they get back from the mission, and the bomber group commander flies every mission, apparently. And he comes back and he's like, oh, hell, it's just tough luck. I don't know what to say. He's all worked up because he lost 5 planes, which is understandable. Mm-hmm. Then the follow-on mission hits. And it's like he doesn't even have a chance to take his jacket off in the mission. They're going to say, hey, tomorrow's this mission. And they're flying instead of 19,000 feet or 30,000 feet, they're going to be at 9,000 feet.
Correct.
And that's because they're not hitting their targets. So the only answer they have is to fly lower.
Right, because this was all about daylight precision bombing.
Right. And the first thing that he says is, that must be a mistake. Like, command doesn't know what they're talking about. They must be mistaken. It's missing a 1 or something, And so what we talked about in this class is we talked about clarity in your orders and what you're saying. If it says tomorrow's mission is 9,000 feet, where today we flew at 19,000 feet, you would want to make sure that you say something to the effect of, we are lowering your operating altitude from 19,000 feet to 9,000 feet, or due to negative impact on your bombs, we're going to have to lower your altitude to this. Something to make it very clear that this is what we want.
Right, that it wasn't a mistake.
Right. So there was back and forth on the phone, and then he says, oh, no, that wasn't a mistake. That's what they said, 9,000 feet. And it's kind of like, oh, those idiots don't know what they're talking about. Easy to say 9,000 feet when you're sitting in a house, cozy.
Right, us versus them.
Right. And so meanwhile, the discussion is going on back at headquarters, right? Between the general, commander of the mission.
Yeah, General Pritchard.
General Pritchard and General Savage.
Yep, who was the chief of staff.
And they're trying to discuss what's the problem here, what's going on. Savage knows what the problem is. I think he knew it right away. The general is busy running his command, because he's not going to focus on one bomber group commander.
Right, and he has the flu.
Right. And the only cure for that flu at the time was Johnny Walker. So they're all drinking scotch to fight off the terrible weather in England. Not a bad gig, but there is a misunderstanding of the pressures too. The bomber group commander, I think he feels like, I'm the only one feeling this type of pressure. Those guys up there are sitting in a nice cushy, house with a fire, and they're not the ones flying the mission. What the heck do they know? But as the commander, the one who has to give those orders, the pressure on them to know that he's sending men off to their death, it's a different kind of pressure, man. It's like,
right.
But everybody's feeling it.
And it was also the pressure of them trying to set a standard and a belief that this particular type of bombing, daylight precision bombing, is going to be successful. But the only way we're going to know it is we have to do it. Right. And keep modifying it. And I think some of their pressure was they have to figure out if it's going to work.
Right.
So they have to keep making changes and doing things with the bomber groups. And that's sort of what was in the movie as well, because they weren't clearly articulating to the commanders below them, this is why we're doing it.
Right. So nobody knew the why. All they knew was go die. That's what they were thinking. Oh, they're just sending us off to our death, and they're going to replace us with more people. And
right, because it took place in 1942. I think when they started the movie was February of 42.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
Well, that we only went to war in December of 41.
Right. It's brand new.
So,
Like the
right,
planes,
you're only
they
3-4
just got
months
there.
in.
The planes just got to England.
Right.
And it was only the Air Corps, the Army Air Corps at that time.
Mm-hmm.
They were there. I think there were some American pilots that were flying in English planes before then, right? But they were individuals who volunteered to go over there. It wasn't like an official.
It was all the fighter groups.
Okay.
Yep. During the Battle of Britain.
So they were over there flying English planes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is the beta group.
Right.
This is the group that's cutting
Well, they want to see like how many missions can we fly before these guys break and can't fly a plane anymore.
Yeah, they called it maximum effort.
Mm-hmm.
How much can we push? How much can we push the machines? How far can we push the men?
Yeah.
And keep going and keep hitting day after day after day.
And I think is in 42, is this before the bomb scope? Before they had the scope?
No, they already had
They
it.
had it because it was started to be developed in the 30s, I think.
Yes.
And then they had it by then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that allowed them to bomb during the day, not at night, so they could see what they're hitting using this new sight. And in the book it says they could drop a bomb in a pickle barrel from 30,000 feet. That's what the sales pitch was.
Right. Funny thing is, it's the start of what has historically been the way for the U.S. military, even to this day. It's about precision attacks.
Yeah. Right.
You know, we're going to try and minimize collateral damage,
Mm-hmm.
which means we're not going to blow up schools and churches and as many civilians as we can.
We're going to try not to.
Right. That's the British. That's carpet bombing.
Yeah, the British were just...
They just laid on across a whole city and they didn't have our bomb sight, and they did it at night.
Yep.
So you can't see what you're hitting other than a flare going down. It's like, drop our bombs. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, look at the Battle of Dresden if you want to see how the English wanted to take care of things.
Well, we participated in that as
We
well.
did too, yeah. But that was like a revenge. Dresden was like the major manufacturing hub of tanks and stuff, wasn't it?
Well,
Wasn't
actually,
it like
I
where
don't think
they
there
made
was
their arms?
anything going on in Dresden.
No?
It just was an untouched city right at the end of the war.
Oh, they were trying to like just break them?
And it was a city where many of the refugees had congregated.
Dude.
And then I think they ended up having 300,000 casualties in a single night.
Yeah, there's the Slaughterhouse 5. Read that book. That was a American POW in Dresden during the firebombing, and they were stuck in a slaughterhouse. But anyway, back to our story. Savage and General, what's his name?
Which one?
You got it.
Pritchard.
Pritchard. So you have General Savage, General Pritchard. They're having a discussion. General Pritchard's sick, in bed with the flu. Savage goes up, pours himself a scotch. Pritchard's drinking Alka-Seltzer. And we're going to talk about their discussion, but let's talk about the bourbon you brought today.
Oh, let's go ahead and finish the background.
Because they're drinking. We're drinking. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Oh.
You brought it, dude.
I don't know. Sometimes we'll go different directions. Today we're drinking Heaven's Door Tennessee Bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey, which is kind of appropriate. It wasn't planned this way, but here we are talking about 12 o'clock high.
Yep.
And we're now going to drink Heaven's Door. So this is a company in which Bob Dylan is one of them, one of the big investors, and that's where you come with the Heaven's Door name to it. And it does come out of Tennessee.
And Heaven's Door is one of his songs, right?
Yes, knock, 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 knocking on Heaven's Door.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses did it better.
Yeah. So price $50. It's aged about 6 to 8 years. We don't know for sure. The distillery, we have no idea. They keep that a secret.
Yeah, it's not Heaven's Door.
No, they're getting it from a couple different ones, and that is not disclosed in any way. Still hasn't. They keep that secret pretty well. Besides that, I do know that the mash is 70% corn, and equally of the 30%, so 15% rye, 15% malted barley.
Okay.
On the back end.
It's
And
pretty standard.
yeah. I said 90 proof. Yes. It is 90 proof. And you and I both agreed on the color.
Yep.
And that it's more like honey gold.
Mm-hmm.
not as light as honey, but not too much darker.
Yeah.
So kind of right in there. On the nose, for me, it was pretty straightforward. I mean, it was easy to pick it, which was, for me, caramel, vanilla, and honey. Those were the three things that jumped right out on the nose.
I got caramel and vanilla, were pretty obvious, but then like some green apple, like a fruity green apple aroma. And then tasting it, corn, caramel, vanilla. Pretty basic.
Corn, caramel, vanilla. I thought it was kind of sweet hot at the start.
Sweet for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it didn't stay that way. And then it kind of drifted. I was trying to figure out what it was, and I remember because we eat these all the time at work, and those Belvita wafer cookies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, they're like a wheat biscuit or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then, the cinnamon, what is it? The cinnamon sugar one, I think is the one you buy for the meetings. It's kind of what it tasted like.
Yeah, I wrote down cinnamon oatmeal because the longer you sit letting it in your mouth, and then after you swallow and breathe, it has like an oatmeal-y type of flavor. Which is like cinnamon oatmeal is what
So it's kind of a sweet to dry finish, and that the sweetness kind of goes away.
Yeah.
And those other flavors start to jump in. Mm-hmm. Certainly a warm end and pepper.
Pepper? Okay. Yeah, I wrote little to no heat because I didn't really... now that I'm sitting here, I guess I can feel a little tingle. But nothing that's really, you're going to be like, whoa, that's spicy.
If I was going to take the name as I'm drinking this, if I don't know what this is, would I ever say this is like drinking something from heaven, or am I knocking on heaven's door? I'm going to say no.
No.
It's more like it's like him telling the story of Tweeter and the Monkey Man.
I don't know what that is.
When he was
that another song?
Yeah, he sang it, but he was one of the members of the Traveling Wilburys at the time, and that was one of his songs, Tweeter and the Monkey Man.
Okay.
They were hard up for cash.
Yeah, I think Bob Dylan's a great songwriter, but as performing his songs, I would rather hear a cat scratch a chalkboard.
They stayed up all night selling cocaine and hash.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, that's the song.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not a Bob Dylan fan. Great songwriter. His son was a much better singer than him. The Wallflowers? Mm-hmm. It's his son sings those songs. I think they were probably considered a one-hit wonder, though. All right, so back to Savage and Pritchard. What was his name?
General Pritchard.
General Pritchard. So General Pritchard is a 3-star. General Savage is a 1-star. Oh, he was only 2?
He's 2.
Oh, I thought he had 3.
No.
Okay. And so the question, he's laying in bed. This scene is pretty, like, there's a lot to it, especially with the blocking in the scene of where the guys move and their body language and which way they're facing when they talk. You could tell that Savage is kind of is really what's the word I'm looking for?
Anxious?
He's anxious about it. He's a little defensive about his buddy, the colonel. But the general just wants facts. He's like, what's the deal? Give me the facts. And Savage is kind of a little defensive, a little protective.
Mm-hmm. Looks away from him.
Looks away, pours his drink.
Turns his body away.
Takes a long slug, long drink. And but as soon as he says it, what he said, I think it's Davenport, the general gets out of bed immediately. He said, we got to go down there. And that's very decisive. That's a good sign of decisive leadership. Yeah, he's sick. He has a lot of pressure on him. This is, I can only imagine his commanding officers, probably Department of War or whatever, calling like, what's going on with the bombings? We need to figure this out. But he needs to keep a bit of detachment from the planes, from actually going, what's going on. But when he makes the decision, I need to go down there and see it with myself, from my own eyes, what's going on.
Yeah, because he actually didn't believe General Savage when he said, "Nope, it's Davenport. Davenport's got to go." And you go, "You got to be kidding me."
He was solid. He's a solid guy, and I got to see it for myself, right? But what happened? Did Davenport go to headquarters first, or did
He did.
So he went up there and talked to Savage.
Right. That's what prompted Savage going. It's Davenport.
Called Pritchard, said, we got to talk. But he was trying to tap dance around it.
Yeah.
Right? That's what happened. Davenport went up and was like, hey, this mission, there's no way we're flying 9,000 feet. This is bullcrap. And, basically, complaining up. But Davenport's problem is he was also complaining down. The big scene when they got the mission, the one thing I noticed was Sergeant McElhaney's sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do you think that Sergeant McElhaney did when he saw the commander, the unit commander, his adjutant, all these officers pissing and moaning about this? There's no way that's right. We're getting our butts kicked, and they're you can guarantee Sergeant McElhaney's going down to the NCO club and saying, we're all going to die tomorrow.
Talking to his buddies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we call that the shithouse lawyers, right? But they're out there spreading, that stuff gets out quick, and it's a morale killer. So that's a problem if you have a commander doing that. Like a senior NCO, any leader. So then Savage and Pritchard go down for a visit, right?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that go?
Didn't go too well.
Not for...
It was a great scene of discovery
mm-hmm.
by the generals. And it really exposed the bomber group as it was and what was really going on. It had nothing to do with luck. They kept saying luck. It was bad luck.
Yeah.
All this other stuff. And, he looked straight at him and goes, luck. I don't believe in luck. And a lieutenant, who was the navigator, spoke
mm-hmm.
up and said, sir, it was my fault. And then immediately the group commander, Davenport, jumps in and says, no, it wasn't. I got this.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility. And General cuts the colonel off, looks at that lieutenant, says, tell me what was going on, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
And the lieutenant just flat out tells him, we were on course and the wind drifted us off course. We made that correction, but we were 20 minutes behind at that point. And when we finally made the correction, we were 3 minutes behind on target.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else had already dropped their bombs and left, and we're out by ourselves sitting ducks.
Yep.
More or less is what happened.
In poor formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Davenport walks him to the door, says, don't worry, son, it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't worry about it. Whatever. Come to find out, that's the third time he'd done that navigator. But he wasn't held accountable for his actions. So the general sees right away, Savage is right, Davenport's the problem, and immediately relieves him of command.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that decisiveness again. I came down, saw it with my own eyes. This is what needs to happen, and it happens. No, he didn't drag it out. Didn't say, I'm sorry, man. You're a good guy, and I really hate to do this to you. No, it was, this is a war. We have our mission. You're failing. You need to be replaced.
Well, and at that point, it's when it was discovered that there was a serious lack of accountability.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
On that going on. And that's that was, for me, that was the biggest highlight of the training we went to this week. Jerry Goldberg. Jerry Goldberg? No. What was his name?
Let's just call him Mr. Goldberg.
Mr. Harvey. Harvey Goldberg. Thank you, Harvey. What he discussed was something called the accountability box.
Mm-hmm.
And you have this square. Picture it in mind. You have this square, and you have all your policies and procedures, your standards and expectations all within this square. And, let's go with something as simple as housework for the family, right? Every day you take out the trash. Trash goes out on Sunday night because it gets picked up on Monday morning. And you forget to take the trash out on Sunday night. You miss the trash pickup. And it's like, oh, you get a counseling from your parents. You forgot to put the trash out. Now we got to wait all the way till next week before we can put it back out again. I won't forget. Okay, we'll let it go this time. And then next weekend they forget again. Well, now the trash can's overflowing. You can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You have the exact same talk. I forgot. I'm sorry. It will not happen again. And you move on. The problem is that X inside that box becomes an X outside the box.
Right.
So what happens is that square that you created, that box with all those standards and expectations, that box just got wider You
Yeah.
created a whole new box because you just set a new standard saying, I don't have to get the trash every week. Maybe every 2 weeks is good enough.
And what would he say? Whatever you allow, expect more of it.
Yes.
So however many X's are outside the box, if you keep allowing that, expect more to show up.
Right. And then so he discussed, and we'll get into it as we talk about it, but I'll just talk about it now, this part of it. But in order for you to tighten the box back up to the original standards, you can't just go back to the original standard and say, this is it.
Yeah.
You have to take that one item outside the box.
Shrink
it.
Yeah, keep shrinking.
Yep. You shrink the box back down, but you take one at a time and go. You can't take everything, like whoever's not doing the dishes or who didn't vacuum last week, who didn't pick up the dog poop in the yard, all those things.
This is something that we as men do all the time because we just keep like, oh, I'll go pick up the dog poop or I'll take the trash out. And then one day we explode on everybody.
Right.
You're not doing this and you're not doing that and you're not doing, I'm sick of this. And then it's a huge blow up. And,
Clear.
Instead of just saying like, hey, the poop needs to be cleaned up, guy. You missed it last week. Let's get it done now.
Right. And so then one of the statements made was, when you hold someone accountable, do you do it to them or are you doing it for them? And it's really a difference between, are you just holding them accountable to punish them or are you holding them accountable to develop them?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a distinct difference between the two.
Yeah. So I wrote down here, to be respected is greater than to be liked.
Yes.
Especially when you're in a command position or a leadership position. Because when you're respected, you'll be loved eventually. But if you try to just be liked right off the bat, you're not going to have those people's respect.
Yes.
And this was Davenport's problem. He was too close. He wasn't detached enough. He was one of the guys. He wanted to be liked. He was in there with like, I feel your pain. I'm doing it. I'm right there with you guys. And this sucks. And command's stupid. And this mission's horrible. And
right, because in that same scene, that's when General Pritchard actually asked him, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose?
Yeah. And that's what he was doing, playing not to lose. Avoiding. He would turn around or they would break up their formation to try to avoid these German fighters. And really, when you break up that formation, you're taking guns out of the fight. Mm-hmm. Each plane has 10 guns. So if one plane breaks off to try to run away, you just lost 10 machine guns to defend the whole thing. You're making everybody more vulnerable.
Right. Everybody has a sector.
And I wrote down here, when a decision is reached, be decisive. So there's a lot of times where we see what the problem is, we make a decision on what we want to do, but we delay in enacting our decision. And that, to keep using the word, being indecisive, that doesn't get you much respect. It will actually could cause more harm in the long term if you delay. But if the whole team sees you being decisive, they're going to be like, whoa, we can't mess around here. He saw a problem, he decided what to do, and he acted right now. There's no wiggle room here for this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Pritchard did there. He was like, oh, okay, Savage was right. This is the problem. And, he's like, starting tomorrow, you're going to be at command with me. And then General Savage took over as the group commander because he was the only one available, right?
Right.
And
and he also had prior experience.
He did.
He was a bomber group and did do 10 missions.
He had 10 missions. Let's see. Because the real big leadership lessons start when Savage takes over, as far as on the positive side. Davenport kind of showed the negative. General Pritchard set the example for his command, and Savage is now moving in, and he's going to enact the commander's intent and show this is what a bomber group commander should be like.
Right. One of his comments was, I think they are better than that.
Yeah.
And so that's what he was setting out to do.
Yeah, he's going to.
And he went back to fundamentals.
That's it, yeah. He knew they were better. He had to prove it to Pritchard, and he needed to prove it to the men, especially that they were better, get them to believe in themselves. And in order to do that, They focused on the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
The scene when he shows up to base is iconic. Like, he's sitting in the front seat next to his driver, and to have a general sitting in the front seat next to your driver is not going to happen, right? It might happen if nobody's looking.
Sure. I'm sure they had a relationship
Yeah.
leading up to that.
And he stops short of going on post. Savage gets out. He's smoking a cigarette. One of the many cigarettes gets thrown on the ground.
Yeah, he's contemplating a little bit.
He's kind of like smoking his last cigarette of like, all right, I can't be loose like this anymore. I've got to tighten up and set an example.
It's time to take command.
So, yeah. And he said, all right, Sergeant. So at first when he gets out, he offers the dude a cigarette and he calls him by his last name. Lights a cigarette for him. He walks around the back of the car, and it's like as soon as he passes the trunk, he's flipping the switch. Mm-hmm. And he says, all right, Sergeant. And the sergeant comes, opens the door. He gets back in the back.
Right. At that point, it's all formal.
That's it.
This is how you do it.
And right away, he hammers the MP at the guard post. The dude shows the guy wiping sweat off his brow. What do you say? The next time you see me, even from a mile away, you better salute. Something like that.
Right.
McElhaney, he goes meets McElhaney's not wearing his uniform. He's like, how the hell do I know what your rank is? How do I know who you are? What do I do? He's like, well, I guess what? Now you're a private. So you don't have to worry about your rank. So he just goes in and hammers them. Mm-hmm. These are the standards we're going to follow from now on.
That's exactly how the start of the movie Patton goes on. Mm. Because Patton takes over command of Second Corps. Takes over in Africa.
Was it Third Corps?
And as soon as he shows up, in there, they're all sitting there just hanging out, and nobody's in uniform, and walks in, and who's the duty officer? Oh, he's out.
Yeah.
And Patton walks in and yells at him. Then he walks around the corner, and all you hear is a big kick. Who the hell's kicking me in the butt? And it's Patton. The guy was sleeping. He says, what are you doing down there, Private? He goes, trying to get some rest, sir. And he says, well, get back down there. You're the only son of a bitch in his unit who knows what he's doing. He gets back and he's like, yes, sir. And then he makes tells everybody, if you ain't wearing a tie, you ain't wearing leggings. Yeah. He starts charging fines on everybody. He shortens the 2-hour breakfast to 15 minutes. And, same thing.
Yeah. This movie immediately got me thinking about Hackworth again. And Steal My Soldiers' Hearts, the book he wrote. And Hackworth's leadership style was, care for your men, maintain discipline, and always set the standard. And those three things, like, don't look at your people like they're assets. Morale, trust, and survival are combat multipliers. If your men think you're spending their lives carelessly, you already lost them. That type of thing. So when he showed up to take over this unit in Vietnam, they were like the worst performing unit in Vietnam. And he showed up and he had, his uniform was crisp and, tailored, and he had his hair high and tight. Everything was perfect. And he's going around and talking to these soldiers who are mostly draftees and asking them, like, what's up with your uniform right here? What is this? What do you got a flower stuck in your vest? Or there's one instance where this guy has FTA written in permanent marker across his helmet liner. And he's like, oh, that's probably, I thought it was the same reason I joined the Army, for fun, travel, and adventure. But he asked the kid, what does that mean? He said, and it's F the Army. And he was like, huh, well, that's weird. And he just moved on, and he was taking stock of what he's got, right? All these draftees. And
yeah, because they were also known as the Hard Luck Battalion.
The Hard Luck Battalion. It's the same thing. And the guy over here playing guitar, rusty weapons, people haven't shaved, they got long hair, morale's in the dumps. And he immediately, where's the NCOs? Get over here. Officers and NCOs. And he just laid waste to these guys. Like, there were some hardcore dudes that he knew, like, okay, keeping these guys. The ones who weren't performing, obviously, he was brutal. Get out. You're not here. I'm going to bust you down to private. All that kind of stuff. Same thing with Savage. Immediately. McElhaney's the one who heard the bad from Davenport and was spreading it around. So what do you think after Savage came in and busted him down to private, he did? Probably went back to and was like, dude, don't mess with this new commander. I'm a private now. He's like,
Right.
That stuff spreads real fast. And as the movie goes on, Savage, what did he do? What was the one lieutenant that he made the leper colony?
Oh, no, that was Colonel Davenport. Colonel Davenport, who was the former bomber group commander. No, I'm sorry, not Davenport. That was
a major, wasn't it?
Yeah, Haney. Was it Haney? Hang on. Let me look. Gately.
Gately was the ground...
Lieutenant Colonel Gately.
What was his job? He was the adjutant or something?
He was the air exec.
Air exec, okay.
He was like the second in command.
Second in command.
And then he bumped him down to just...
pilot.
Right.
And
you're
he said,
the pilot commander.
You're going to paint leper colony on the side of your plane, and I'm going to give you the worst performing people in this unit.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy was a West Point graduate. He had his father, grandfather were generals, were like highly respected officers.
More experience in this plane than anybody else there. More experience,
right. And so he knew that this guy has more to offer than what he's putting out. And I'm not going to get rid of him, but I'm going to put him in his place, and he's going to build it back. I know it. And he did. The leper colony plane, didn't he end up becoming like the group commander one day or something?
No, but what happened was, and I'll jump forward, is on the last mission of the movie in which Savage couldn't get in the plane. He just had a nervous breakdown, more or less. Couldn't get in the plane. And then he took over and said, I'll take it. And then he actually led the bomber group in that mission. Now, you don't know anything about it because the movie's over. But at that point, you knew that he was reconciled. He was back up to where he can be, maintaining his full potential, and was able to lead the full bomber group.
Right.
Because they do count all the planes coming back.
Yeah, that's right. They do.
And they're all back.
And that's the whole thing. Like, everybody in this unit finally believed in themselves and what they were doing. And what are some of the key lessons from this? And I highly recommend this movie, like, for everybody, fathers, if you're a manager, leader, frontline supervisor, go watch this movie and really take some notes on what you see. Because if you watch this movie and you think, oh, it's just a World War II bombing movie, like, you're totally missing the point.
Yep.
It's not about that at all. That's kind of secondary to what the true movie's about.
Right. I thought one of the ones that stood out as well is if you're in a company or you own a business or anything like that, and you're in the middle of a change, you have to do change to get better, or to up your skills, or to improve, or to build sales, whatever. Are you the anchor, or are you the engine for change? So this is where you're getting a buy-in from the leadership above you.
Yeah.
You could either resist them, and then you're becoming the anchor to whatever the mission is for the unit, and you're slowing everybody down, or you're causing things to get off course. Whereas you could be the engine for change and actually move forward, embrace it, move forward, adopt it, and spread that to everybody that you work with.
Yeah. This is like what it comes down to, is leading by example. And there's a lot of people say that, lead by example, but they don't actually know what the heck it means. You have to set the standard and live that standard out every single day.
There are so many examples of lead by example.
Yeah.
So many variations to that. It's as simple as, what we do at work. I mean, it comes from our military background.
Sure.
When we have a company lunch, who's the last people to eat? You and me?
Yeah, that's right.
It's out of habit. You want all your people to eat first. You'll stand there and serve everyone.
Serve first, yeah.
And then once they're all getting their food, you'll grab yours and sit down.
Yeah.
That's one example. You had the Navy Admiral. He's got the book out. He got famous for his speeches. Make your bed.
Make your bed, yeah.
Same thing. How are you starting your day?
Yep.
That's an example of leading by example. Believe it or not, because people see that. If you're in a situation where people are inspecting the things that you own, or a vehicle that you drive, we do the same thing. I manage a fleet of trucks. So I can't expect what I don't inspect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and look at these trucks. Are they doing a proper pre-trip and post-trip inspection? Are they actually writing things down? Do they check their dipsticks under the engine? All that stuff.
Yeah.
Those are just different examples of lead by example.
Yes.
Being out in front.
Yeah, you don't actually have to be the leader of the organization to lead by example.
Nope.
You can set a standard, like, you know what the standard is. Everybody knows what the standard is. And if you're working in a company where you don't know what the standard is, you probably should go work for somebody else, because there's something seriously wrong there.
Yeah. Or if the company has one, you better figure out what the standard is.
Yeah.
Ask the question.
But there's, at a minimum, like, don't be late. Work, don't, don't steal from the company you work for. Work hard, earn your paycheck. There's all those sort of things that you can do without knowing, the overarching, we're going to hit this much sales this year, and we're going to make so many widgets and blah, blah, blah. But you could have your own personal standard.
Right.
I'm going to show up to work 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early. I'm going to do this.
Right. It's good to know the why.
Sure. You have to.
Very helpful to know the why. Like you said, we're going to make this many widgets over the course of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in my job, all I am is a cleaner. How am I going to impact that? Well, here's the deal. Is you got to keep everything clean. You're responsible for keeping all of the machines clean and dust free, so that way they don't get bogged down and grease gets caught up in the joints, and
That's right.
belts come to a screeching halt because there's so much grime and dirt built up. So you got to understand where your place is and why your place is important.
Yeah. And let's say there's a weak leadership in your company, and you're a strong leader, but you're not in charge of the whole entire company. You're just the manager that works there. You should be looking at that like it's an opportunity, not like, oh, this sucks, man. Nobody's in charge and everything's, whatever, dude. That's not what leaders do. You look at it like, oh, I got an opportunity to step in here and help and do and lead. And you have to be real careful that you're not sticking your neck out on a chopping block if something goes wrong, but it is a risk. Stepping in and stepping up. There's a time to stay in your lane and focus on your own department. Like, don't worry about somebody else's area if yours is a disaster.
But know when to change lanes.
You need to know, yeah.
Because there's opportunities where you stay in your lane, but you understand that what's happening over here, even though it's not your responsibility, if they don't live up to what they're doing, it's going to affect your lane, so to speak.
Right.
So you're going to jump out of your lane and have a one-on-one talk, off the record kind of thing, or just a chat. And you're not out to confront, you're out to have a discussion.
Yeah.
And ask for or make a recommendation. Can I suggest something?
Right.
Let them take it or not, but you did your bit.
Yeah. So like my role, I see everybody in the whole entire company every day. And my job is to observe and to track data and forecast problems and stuff that's going to go wrong, in the safety realm. And so obviously if somebody's not following the safety policies, that affects me. But if somebody's being driven too hard to hit production numbers or whatever, that could also affect me, or them. And so there's times where I'm present, I've observed what's going on, but I'm detached from the project, whatever's happening. I'm detached. I'm just an advisor, an observer. And there's times where I can step in there and say, hey man, I noticed this. What do you think about that? It's up to you. I'm just, throwing it out there. I'm not telling you what to do.
Right.
But those are kind of things how I feel like I contribute a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and we're talking weather, right, at the beginning.
Sure.
So, and we also talked maximum effort. What is maximum effort? Well, even in our business, maximum effort is when I come into work on Monday, it's going to be a slow start or it's going to be a late start, but we are going to open.
Sure.
Guaranteed we will.
Oh, yeah.
So then we're already going to be impacted by the weather on that day, and it's the last week of contracts. So you have to figure out how are you going to apply maximum effort on Tuesday through Friday in order to achieve Monday through Friday.
Well, I remember the last snowstorm. Me and you were out shoveling sidewalks, and we shoveled the whole dang scales off. Like,
Yeah.
we were ready to roll when we opened up
Yes.
because we took the initiative saying, hey, I need to get in early. And we didn't even talk about going in early, did we? We just both showed up early because we knew, like, somebody's going to have to do it, and it might as well be me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were out there, you know, breaking our backs, lifting that heavy snow.
But you know what? Maximum effort is actually, I think, is still an important term.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we do, I'm in school, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So maximum effort. I've got midterms coming up. I got to study, get my reports done, take all my notes, review them.
That's actually a biblical concept, isn't it? Whatever you do, do with all your heart, your mind, your soul. Isn't that in the Bible? I can't.
Yeah. I don't think it's applied as maximum effort, but I can see
it's
the
same
link.
thing. Yeah,
I can see the link.
Like whatever you're doing, even like you said, like it's like shoveling, like snow needs to be shoveled, or you're in school and you have to study. Like you're doing it, so you might as well do it to the best you can of your ability. You might as well put as much effort into it as you can.
Yeah, because as you're doing it, you also need to be promoting excellence.
Yeah,
Don't do it, and you're doing it not because you want to do well, but you know that it's got to get done, so you complain while you do it.
Yeah, no.
Build excellence and support amongst those that you're working with.
Yeah.
Get them to do it. You know, it's like last year we talked about the snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, you and I are out there doing our things. All of a sudden, other people start showing up. It's like, oh, I can get out there with the skid steer and drive across there. I'm like, yeah, do it.
Go ahead, man.
And I'll get the extra.
Right.
You know, or somebody else jumped out with a big push broom and started getting some of the sidewalk stuff. Same thing. And it's leading by example.
That's it. Yeah.
People are going to step in and go, oh, man, they're out there in the cold and it's snowing. I guess I'll get out there and do it too.
Yep.
You know, and regardless of how they feel about it, they're
doing it.
That says something too.
So there's two instances that come to mind. When I was a drill sergeant, and we had the you have the two different obstacle courses, and basically you have the conditioning course, and then you have the fear course, which is like the confidence course.
Yes.
You know, where it's scary, but it's totally safe. But the conditioning course, right? I told my privates, I want you all to stand here. You hold the stopwatch. I'm going to run this course, and I'm going to set the standard for you to meet or beat. And I'm giving my basic trainees power over me with a stopwatch, and it's on me. I'm putting it on me to set the standard. And so I busted through the course and set the time, stop, look at the watch. There you go. That's your time you need to meet or beat. I was dying when I got to the end of that. I was hustling. But those guys look at that like, oh, Drill Sergeant Hutchison just did this at this time. I need to try to beat him because that's they can pound their chest a little bit. I beat Drill Sergeant Hutchison. And then at the fire service, we used to do drills of get out of the truck, pull the 5-inch. We have a little 5-inch hydrant connection. It's like a 10-foot piece of hose. So you get out, you got to take the cap off the hydrant, flush it out, close it, hook up your thing, hook up a gate valve to the other side, hook it to the truck, and get water flowing to the truck. And it's a drill, see how fast you can get it done. So it's like, hey, let's go. And same thing. I set the standard. I'm an old man at this point, but I still did it faster than everybody on my crew. And I was like, guys, what's wrong here? I'm an old man, and I could do this faster than you. You guys need to practice. And I go inside, and they're out there running drills, practicing over and over again to try to beat the old man.
Mm-hmm. There's an iconic photo, and this movie is about World War II. That's the bulk of our discussion. And right after all this was going on, we're building an army. There's an iconic photo of General Bradley doing a rope swing, swinging a rope across a water trench, because that's what all the troops have to do. So the generals and the officers had to adhere to the same standards as all the troops.
Yeah.
That was one of the big mandates from General Marshall. That's how one of the ways he weeded out the older generals and senior officers to make way for a wartime army.
Sounds familiar to nowadays, where you have the Secretary of War out there doing PT with the troops, doing push-ups and working out every day, and he's trim and fit. And then he goes, generals, officers, leaders of our military, you look like 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. You can either get with the program or get out. And you should not hear any belly aching from a military leader for that talk, because You hear that from when you're the lowest ranking officer or enlisted man all the way up. And I guarantee those officers have signed, those generals have signed chapter orders for soldiers for not making height and weight standards to kick them out of the Army. I guarantee it. Meanwhile, they get fat guts up there in Washington.
I did have one question. I questioned one thing about the movie.
Okay, let's hear it.
Which we didn't get into, and you don't really get into it in the movie, but the very end of the movie, I mentioned it briefly. General Savage is getting ready to lead a bomber mission, and he just can't physically get in the plane. He has total breakdown.
Well, it doesn't say... Was it he physically couldn't do it, or there was a mental block that stopped him from physically doing it? It doesn't really clarify.
Well, I'm going to take it from when you see him just sitting there.
Yeah.
Until he hears the planes all come back, and then he just suddenly gets up and moves and goes, I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
And goes to sleep. So I'm going to say it's mental.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a couple questions down. Is that acceptable for General Savage as the group commander, or the bomber group commander, to have that kind of breaking point? And
well, what do you think? What's your answer to that?
My answer is no.
Okay.
It's not acceptable. Only, and I'm thinking from a perspective of, you don't have anybody behind you. You're on a mission. Who's going to take your place? There's not something in rotation. And did you brief that with anybody? You know, or let anybody know ahead of time? And this, again, is that maximum effort thing. You know, are you using your resources to their fullest? Or are you trying to do it all yourself? Okay. Did he have to go on every single mission? He didn't. He could have sent his air exec out. Hey, you're going to take this next mission. And he does that in one of the points of the movie.
Well, I have two things. One, I would say, yes, it is acceptable, and I'll explain after this. And two, wasn't one of their missions to find the breaking point of how many missions a man could fly before?
Yeah, so you don't hear it in the movie, but realistically, the way it really worked out, it was 25 missions. 25 missions and you were done. You no longer flew anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the standard that was actually set by the Air Corps during the war.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know what? If not, so how do you prevent? These were how I was trying to answer
Let me
this.
finish my thought here. I think it is acceptable because he recognized, I'm not fit enough to fly this mission, and he stepped aside. He was still in a right frame of mind to say...
They pulled him from the plane. He couldn't get on, but he's like, I can't get up, I can't do it. And then they pulled him away.
Did he ask for help to get up in the plane?
No, he didn't.
I thought, I seem to remember, he goes to kick his legs up and he can't do it. And then he was kind of like, whoa.
Right, and then he tried again. And then someone, whoever was with him in the Jeep, runs over, pulls him away, and that's when Colonel Gately, who was the leper colony commander, says, don't worry, sir, I got it. I'll take the mission.
So at that point, I would say he had reached his breaking point, but he wasn't willing to admit it.
Right.
So maybe if he would have said, I need to sit this one out, and had that right frame of mind, that would be acceptable. Like, I can't.
Well, and see, this was some of my points. I wrote down number one, and I'm thinking as me as a leader, right? Again, the officer perspective. Number one, you don't have to lead like other people lead. So
that's true.
If the issue is, I got to be up there every single time, boom, 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 boom.
You're going to end up like Davenport one day.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
Number two, you must be brave enough to learn yourself.
Okay, fully agree with that.
So again, that's a little bit of that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Kind of. And then the last one, you must never be alone.
So I agree. So he was kind of taking too much on himself. He wasn't building up somebody to take over for him when he left. And that was a fatal flaw. Right.
And that it did also play along with the movie in which General Pritchard at the beginning, when he told him to take command, is like, we got to figure out what maximum effort is.
Yeah.
And so maybe he did take it from that perspective and goes, I just got to keep going until I can't do it no more.
Yeah.
But you don't break down right when you're going on a mission. That's the worst time to figure that out.
Yeah. So you as a captain, as a company commander, did you take on a mentorship role for your XO or the platoon leaders in your company? You know, saying like, okay, one day I'm going to go. So the XO takes over, who's a first lieutenant. If you're on leave, the executive officer is the acting company commander while you're gone,
Right.
in your absence. And the Army is always teaching, like, learn the job above you and the job below you, so you could do either if mission dictates,
Right.
or whatever situation
Yeah,
dictates.
because I do remember when I was the senior lieutenant and my captain or my company and my commander went on leave for 2 weeks. He wrote out orders, Lieutenant Spees is the commander in my absence, blah, blah, blah. Well, the very first day I'm there, they wrote out a new memo for something that had to get published. And on my signature block, they had Kevin Spees, first lieutenant, in the unit, and underneath it, acting commander. And I kicked the memo back to the clerk and said it's incorrect. And she says, "What's wrong with it?" And I go, "I'm not the acting commander, I'm the commander. So you need to change that." And she took the word acting off and put commander.
Yeah.
And then, so that was me as a lieutenant. And then in the short time that I was a company commander, my focus wasn't on the officers. My focus was on the NCOs. I spent more time with the NCOs during that period of time, the first sergeant and the platoon sergeants, than I did the officers.
And that's a very good move, because you want to make sure that your NCOs are highly trained and know your standard, because the NCOs are the standard bearers for the unit. So your first sergeant, your platoon sergeants are who hold the standard, and they also control morale, the culture, everything.
Right. Well, I knew instinctively that that's where it's going to come from.
Yeah.
It isn't going to come from the lieutenants. I mean, it was a reserve unit at the time that I was the company commander. So once a month. So it's not the lieutenants, because when you come in for a drill or you do something, they're doing all the admin stuff that they have to do for the monthly drills. But it's the NCOs that are spending time with the troops and working on the vehicles and all that, because it was a maintenance company.
But also, how much do you learn by teaching? You know what I'm saying? Like,
You learn a lot.
I became an expert marksman by teaching basic rifle marksmanship as a drill sergeant. I became an expert marksman, even to the point where I was competing in, special operations, long range rifle competitions, where I felt like I had no business being there, because I'm not in special operations, but I'm still competing with these guys because of the basics, the fundamentals that I drilled over. I taught it over and over and over again. Hackworth had the same thing. He really loved the NCOs. He looked at them as the spine of leadership, and really, even today, we call the NCO Corps the backbone of the Army.
Oh, we could talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
So you had this guy named David Hackworth,
who
was a former colonel in the Army, but he enlisted right at the end of World War II, and he was a private in northern Italy in 1946, and he was, 15?
15 or 16,
when he joined?
Yeah, well, he joined the Merchant Marines when he was 15, and then he joined the Army. He did a year in the Pacific during the war as a Merchant Marine, and then he enlisted. I think he was 16 when he came back, 17, something like that.
So
too young to be in the Army.
Right. So I'm not going to go through his whole career, but he was in every war or conflict we had from the end of World War II through Vietnam.
Yeah, even the end of World War II, there was stuff going on with the communists up in the hills of Italy, right? Yeah.
So you had that. And overall, this man here was one of the most decorated.
He was, at the time, the most decorated living soldier
of all time.
Yeah.
I did a quick count here. He had more than 90 U.S. and foreign awards. He had 10 Silver Stars.
Yep.
8 Purple Hearts, 8 Bronze Stars, 2 Distinguished Service Crosses. He had 34 Air Medals.
Yep.
I mean, that's just unheard of. You just don't see that kind of thing.
He was an absolute stud. His nickname was Mr. Infantry. Everybody in the Army knew who he was. That's how popular he was.
Right. And then, so here it is, after he did his command with the 101st, 1966, that's when he wrote and published his tactical handbook, the Vietnam Primer.
Yeah.
And really, that thing was all about, hey, we've been doing it all wrong. We're still a World War II Army.
Yeah.
Trying to fight the Viet Cong.
Looking at metrics over tactics.
Yeah. And he says, we got to get back to fighting the way the enemy fights.
Yeah.
And that was small units going out, strikes,
out G
runs.
the G.
Yes.
Out guerrilla the guerrilla.
Right. And you know what? It sounds so familiar to what? Oh, wait.
Counterinsurgency?
Colonial America?
Yeah.
When we were fighting the British, and
That's
they used to get mad at us, the Americans, because we would shoot from behind a wall and run.
Yeah. And they didn't match our tactics, so they lost.
Right. And so here, flash forward, we're still the best army in the world. We're in Vietnam, and we can't even learn our own lessons and keep adapting to what we're good at and keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a good way to look at stuff. And then all of a sudden you have his other book you've been referencing, Steal My Soldiers' Hearts.
Yeah. Well, his first book was About Face. It's kind of autobiographical.
Yeah. Right.
But Steal My Soldiers' Hearts is really, man, talk about a great leadership book.
Yeah.
I read it once a year.
And I like how he got the title, because the title came from Shakespeare's Henry V. And the first line, or there's a line in the play where Henry V says, "O God of battle, steal my soldiers' hearts, possess them not with fear."
Yeah.
And so he took that. And that's how he took in when he took that battalion in the 9th Infantry.
So he noticed these guys were scared. They were scared to go out on missions. They thought they were all going to get killed every time they go out. And they were taking heavy casualties because of their lack of discipline, their lack of weapons maintenance, their lack of tactics and all this stuff. And so he showed up and was like, oh, I know exactly what to do with these guys.
Yeah. And like you said, they were all draftees. They weren't the 1966 units he was in command of. It was the 69 units.
He always said he loved the draftees because you could go up to a private as a colonel and say, what's wrong with this unit? And that private would tell you exactly what's on his mind.
Yeah. But he had a bounty on his head.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
When he took over. But then he had a new bounty on his head when he left.
From the Viet Cong.
Right? Yeah, but I wrote down this one quote from a soldier after he had left command. The most terrible thing happened today. Colonel Hackworth left. You remember the one everyone hated and wanted shot? Now there's another bounty out for him, to anyone who can get him to come back.
Yeah, they loved him. And, his air medals, like, he got a lot in Vietnam because he would be flying over the battlefield. As soon as his troops came in contact, he would get in a helicopter and want to go and observe. And if he saw soldiers were hurt, he would direct that helicopter pilot to go land so he could grab them personally. And he got some Purple Hearts out of that and air medals and all that kind of stuff. But he wasn't chasing glory. He just led that way to where he was putting himself in as much danger as the soldiers.
Right. He was the epitome of the values-based leader.
Yeah.
He was all about the soldier, like you said. I mean, again, he was a soldier himself.
He was. Yeah. So he never studied philosophy. He didn't study all this leadership tactics and styles and blah, blah, blah. It was all from his own experience. He saw, this is a good leader. This is a crappy leader. I want to be like the good leader. He was a very, like if you read about his Korean War time, like he was a gung-ho dude. Like he was always out there. He got shot in the head one time. He had a scar like right down the middle of his head where the bullet went up under his helmet liner, and he just kept on going. Like,
it's a good natural part.
Yeah, that would be a cool scar to have. But
we've been talking about this. It's all about open communication and feedback.
Yeah. He
was very big on that. He was all about making sure the troops had the best equipment they can get their hands on.
Absolutely.
There's classic stories about rear echelon officers.
Oh, having the good stuff, and he
coming in and inspecting the unit, and he would order them to take off their green camo boots and give them to one of the soldiers before they left, and he would not let them leave until they gave up their boots.
Yep.
And they traded boots because the boots they had were crappy.
Yeah.
And so that was one way that he was able to convince everyone, hey, we got to get good boots this year.
Yeah, those jungle boots, yeah.
But he was all about instilling discipline.
Oh, yeah.
You check everything as often as you can, which, again, I've talked about this. This is what we do in my own job. You have to check everything, making sure it's functioning. Is there a leak somewhere? Or is there, the food is not at the right temperature if you're working at a restaurant. I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But you're always checking.
Like he would be the one standing at the gate when a patrol's leaving. This is when he first got there. And he would check everybody, do a what functions check. Let me see your equipment. Let me check. He was showing all the other leaders in the unit, this is what I want you to do. When your guys go out on patrol, you need to be doing this. And if you didn't do it, you were gone, and a new guy would be in your place. And he showed right away, this is how you do it. Hal Moore in We Were Soldiers points out that young lieutenant checking his private's feet when they're on that run. And he said, look right there, that's a leader. He's checking his guy's feet, and he tells everybody else, pull your boots off, check your buddy's feet. He said, that's a leader right there. And Hal Moore did a lot of the same stuff. Showed up to a unit. This is the way it's going to be. through his NCOs. He didn't micromanage. He used the leaders, developed his leaders, and held a standard.
Right.
What do you... I don't want to go down that road.
Well, the other thing was, and this is a term we use in our own company, do you have the right people in the right seat?
Yeah.
And again, from 12 o'clock high, they realized, or General Savage realized that Gately's in the wrong place. He's no longer the air exec. Put him in charge of the leper colony bomber. And then he took another bomber guy and made him the new air exec. And he ended up doing really, really well in his role. You really got to be cognizant of the people that you have and stop trying to cover for them. You're not doing them any good by covering for them.
Yeah, I wrote down here, Hackworth believed that mercy for bad leaders was cruelty to good soldiers. So if you have mercy, like if you're, let's say you are the top of a company and you're looking at your managers and be like, wow, he's a good guy. He's been working here for so long. He's been in it, does this, but he's failing at doing the job. You're actually being cruel to those first line workers down there that have to deal with that crap, man. And they feel like they're not doing anything right. What's the point of work? Man, I'm only making this much money an hour. I can go somewhere else and make this money. Then you're going to have turnover problems and all kinds of crap just because you feel bad. And there's a place, there's a time and place to have those kind of feelings for somebody. But, in business or especially in the military, there's no time for that.
Right.
It's just business.
And then once again, everything comes back to fundamentals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And making sure that you, number one, you set the standard and the expectation and you adhere to them.
So I wrote down I think these are adjectives, but I did terrible.
Okay.
So these are descriptors of what a Hackworth, words that I say would describe Hackworth.
Okay.
And what I would want in a leader, right? Present, brutal, consistent, adaptive, decisive, demanding, caring, protecting, and absolute.
Can brutal exist in corporate environment?
Yeah, brutal in a corporate environment would look much different than brutal in the military. I would say it's a different kind of brutal. For example, so my first platoon sergeant, Sergeant First Class Bebo, was like Hackworth. Like we're in the rear. If your uniform wasn't pressed, if your boots weren't polished, if you didn't shave, there was going to be hell to pay, and it was going to be brutal. It was not fun. If you couldn't tie a knot proper, like if you didn't have enough safety, your tail on the end of your bowline was less than 6 inches, it was like the worst thing that ever happened in the world. But when we went to the field, it was fun with him. Like he was like, in his, like we were like, who is this guy? You still had, it was hard. Like we were rucking hard, patrolling, do patrol. He would come inspect our patrol base, make sure we had our proper security out, doing all this sort of stuff. And he was very tough, but it was a little bit lighthearted because he knew, like, we're not in the rear anymore. We're in the woods. We're training. Like, he knew we were hungry, we were cold, we were tired, and it was like a little bit of fun. So he was like this adaptive leader. As soon as we went back to the rear and we had to refit, clean your equipment, all that kind of, he was brutal. Like, we were up all night and we're going to do an inspection tomorrow. I don't care how much belly aching. In the corporate world, you can't have those, like, I'm going to work you to death type of mentality. You just can't do that. It's not possible. But what would brutal look like in the corporate world would be at the leadership level, I think, where you recognize this guy's an absolute failure. He's not cutting the mustard, and boom, gone. You would look at it like, "Ooh, dude, he's got a family, he's got kids, and he's got bills to pay, and you're just gonna let him go like that? Like, that's pretty brutal. You just took that dude's means of providing for his family away, but you didn't take anything away. He did it to himself. So it looks brutal, but it really, you're probably doing that guy a favor,
right, in
the long run, And if they don't learn from that, brutality, if you want to call it that, that's on them. You know, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just a truth of nature, man. It's just like the truth. That's just the way it is. It's brutal. Life is brutal. Trying to think of any other leadership lessons I had here. Oh, so what would you call NC, like for in the Army, we have NCOs, right? Junior NCOs.
Right.
What is their equivalent in the workplace, in business? Supervisors, and even though we hate the term middle managers.
I wouldn't even put them at middle manager.
So you're thinking like corporals, sergeants, and staff sergeants?
No, middle manager, I'm going to think platoon sergeant, even a first sergeant, lieutenants. Oh. That'd be middle managers.
Yeah, platoon commander and platoon sergeant.
Yep.
Okay.
At least in my experience.
That's
that's where I would equate them in the business world that I've been in.
Yeah. So then you'd have like team leads would be like your E5s and E4s.
Yes.
Okay. How important are they to an organization as a whole?
Well, I think they're very important because the people that are working for them every single day, the hourly employee, is going to stay or go not only for money, but who they work with. And if they're not getting looked after versus looked over,
okay.
They're going to go somewhere else.
Let's talk about that, looking after as opposed to looked over. What's the difference?
Well, I don't always have somebody looking over my shoulder, inspecting every little thing I do, or constantly nitpicking on maybe how I might perform a procedure.
Mm-hmm.
If the outcome is still the same, why are you questioning the way I'm doing it?
There you go. So that's why
I'm still getting to the same spot.
So as a leader of a company, you should give the why. Here's what I want. Here's why I want it. How you get it done, as long as you're doing it legally and ethically, why does it matter?
Right.
You shouldn't be micromanaging those details, because if you are, you're losing focus of the big picture.
But you as a team lead or even a supervisor, if you're not asking the why, someone is doing it differently, but the outcome is the same, maybe the way they're doing it is more efficient than the way that's been established.
There you go.
And maybe you need to be open to it as a leader and going, can you show me how you just did that? Can you show everybody else how you just did that?
So humility is a good part of leadership.
Oh, definitely. Always is.
It is. Yeah. If you think you know the way, my way's the best way, and everybody else sucks, then you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got to be. I mean, that's where all the ideas are coming from.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but there's many ideas that are at different levels of the company that are just getting overlooked.
Right.
And you could tell who the person is who is, I don't know the term, but just the prima donna who's coming in and going, you didn't do it. You're supposed to do it this way.
Yeah.
However, but if you do it this way, no, I want it done this way.
Yeah.
And then if someone else comes along and sees, why'd you just correct him? That's because that's the way we've always done it.
That's the way we've always done it.
And that's the worst thing that could happen right there. Yeah. Don't ever give me that statement.
Look at Vietnam compared to World War II. You know, like, I had a bunch of notes written on this. Hold on, I'll get there. I've got like 20 pages of notes here.
But the way we've always done it is one of the worst responses you can give to anyone.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. All right, so Vietnam, they punished, they had rigid control, abstract ideology, careerist leadership, right? Mm-hmm. World War II, they had loose control, strong ideology, and a win-first mentality. Hackworth, he succeeded because he adapted faster than the institution. His tactics and the way he adapted was too fast for the Army, and that's why he got hammered, really. Well, his ego really burned him, but he trusted in...
He gave an interview.
He did, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. But he was... A lot of generals and people didn't like him because he was showing them up. That's what the big deal was. He treated men as moral agents, not expendable assets. In World War II, Americans adapted faster than the enemy. Mm-hmm. Because they had that autonomy. to do it. You know, they had Ford engines in their tanks, and the guys knew how to work on Ford engines, so that they wouldn't wait for the maintenance people to show up. They would just fix it and move on.
Right. Well, in World War II, they're playing to win.
That's what I said. The only metric they went by was victory with a capital V.
Yes.
That's it. Not body count, not how much land we've taken, blah, blah. No, victory. Kill the enemy and win.
Well, I think there's a couple of distinctions there. I agree with all of them. But there are also a couple of distinctions. Number one, World War II is a declared war. And
True.
we had a mobilized civilian workforce
Yeah.
and economy. Yeah. Vietnam had nothing like that. It was undeclared. It was another, what you called a police action. And
started by a false flag.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the civilian population had no impact whatsoever to it other than the protests not to go over there.
Well, you had a lot of poor people's sons going off to die in the war. You had rich people's sons not going off to fight.
You're right, because Vietnam had the buyout and if you're in college, you don't have to get the draft.
Like
yes.
Dick Cheney.
Yes, you're right. So stuff like that was taking place in Vietnam. So you know what? You're not going to win. It was a very political war.
In World War II, you had guys that were 4F that were rated unfit for duty that were killing themselves because they couldn't go fight for their country.
Yeah. So there were some big distinctions between the two, and so that's when you're going to get. Again, you have the senior leadership saying this is what we're going to do, and then you have everybody below going, well, I mean, I can't do this, so I got to adapt somehow.
Yeah.
And keep doing our thing. And that's kind of how you ended up with the body counts and other stuff like that.
Yeah, falsified body counts.
Because they couldn't figure out how to win. You're not winning against, insurgents.
Yeah.
Guerrilla warfare.
So like the movie Hamburger Hill, the frustration of the soldiers really comes out in that movie because they're like, we got to take this hill. Why? Because we got to take the hill. But why are we taking the hill? Well, because the commander said so. So go.
And then after they took it, they left.
After they took it, then they're like, all right, get on the helicopters. We're out of here. They're like, and everybody's like, what the hell are we doing here, man? And that's kind of Vietnam. I talked to my buddy's dad, who was in the 25th Infantry Division in Vietnam. And he was just like, man, I don't know what the hell we were doing over there. It was just like, I guess we're here to kill Vietnamese. And he just did his time and was like, I don't know what the hell I was doing the whole time, Like it was just a thing we were doing in the 60s. It didn't really mean anything. It's crazy, man.
Right.
If you have that feeling at the company you're working for or that feeling in life, like, man, you really got to do some self-evaluation and figure your stuff out.
You really do.
Like you can
take the leap.
Take the leap. Yeah. Take a risk. Yeah. You can't have any reward without risk.
Growth and comfort never coexist.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Wise man once said that. Mm-hmm. What other notes did you have down here for the movie? Because we already went through the end, but I highly recommend everybody go watch 12 O'Clock High. What did we watch it on Amazon? It was like $3, $4, I think.
Something like that.
Pre-check all your equipment. You talked about that. Know your team. You wrote down here, stay alive if you can.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, the idea is to be trained up, be the best that you can be. But again, it's not about the body count or just sending people out. It's about accomplishing a mission, but getting everybody, as many people staying alive as possible.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things about Hackworth's battalion when he took over his. They had the least amount of casualties by the time he finished than any other unit.
Yep. They were killing more enemy, and they were surviving more gunfights. They were gaining more intelligence with their reconnaissance, and they were proud as hell to do it.
Right. That was one of the things that was in the movie was violating group integrity, and that's what increased the body count. So everyone prefers an organization that has accountability and consequences. And there's one scene where General Savage says they violated group integrity. The one thing that is not expendable is your obligation to this group. Because when you fail in your part, everyone else is going to fail because they're going to get affected by what you don't do or fail to do.
How many times did that happen in like the Revolution or the Civil War, where like one soldier breaks and runs, and then 2 guys run, then 4, then 8, and then next thing you know, the entire unit's running and retreating.
Mm-hmm.
It's a, you know, a communicable disease.
Right. So, you know what? I'm going to thank Harvey Goldberg for his presentation.
Yeah,
it was
I really
very
liked
helpful.
it. I really liked it. And
it was insightful.
It was insightful. And thank you to our company for allowing us to go.
Sure.
You know, that was cool. Get some time during the workday to go learn something. That was nice. Any final words, Kevin, about leadership or 12 O'Clock High or anything that you want to pass along?
No.
I noticed something that I didn't prepare you for this conversation, but so I'm looking at our Spotify page and noticed that we're like 31 subscribers on Spotify for the past 2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
We're kind of hit a plateau, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there looking at it the other day, and I started thinking, like, what could we do to grow our listenership? What could we do to get more people to subscribe? What could we do to get more views on YouTube? Do we need to do this? And I started thinking, like, wait a second. Why do I care at all? And so I stopped and I started asking myself, why am I doing this podcast? Why are we doing this? It's not to make money. It's not to go viral and have 1 million subscribers and blah, blah, blah. Because in order for us to do that, we would have to get topical and be like TMZ or the news and have to talk about what's happening today and give our opinions about what, and be controversial and edgy and, you know, whatever to go. Like, I have no interest in that whatsoever. Right.
Or even from YouTube, you have to start recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Record videos.
They want to see you.
Yeah. So then okay. So what am I doing this for? One, it's fun. It's a fun hobby. It's a cool hangout for a couple dudes to just sit here and talk and speak our minds. But in all honesty, this is like a legacy project. Like, I'm recording my voice, and one day my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be able to hear this. And that's pretty damn special, man.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is enough to motivate me to just keep loving and enjoying this, because I'm having a blast.
Right.
And I honestly don't care if we had 0 followers.
Well, I think anybody else who would listen, I mean, one of the, you know, I'm all about it's just us. And we've talked about this so many times. We said this on the show so many times. We're not monetized in any way. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
We're doing it because we have fun and all that. But you know what? The truth is that we go all over the place in a lot of the shows. Mm-hmm. And we're not fully prepared, you know, and formal and
right.
going down the line for all these things. But really, every single show, there is something on it that somebody can learn from.
Yeah.
Every single show. Or would trigger an example in their own life, or a memory, or a way they go, you know, oh man, I forgot about that. I really need to concentrate on that.
Yeah.
And if that's all we're getting out of it, I'm happy.
Yeah. And especially since we started talking more openly about our faith too. I think that's a big part of it. Because honestly, everything I do in my life, how I choose to lead at work or at home, the decisions I make, I really, really try to do everything based off of my faith first. And so that's important for me to pass along to future generations that are, because like, I don't remember what my grandfather Hutch's voices sound like. I have no idea I can't remember what he sounded like. My grandma Callier died when I was 4 or 5. I don't remember anything about her. And this is an awesome opportunity to have my voice recorded for future generations of Hutchison boys and girls to say, oh, that's my great-grandpa's voice, talking about a book he read way back in the 1900s, you know? So I was like, dang, man, this is really special.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish more people would listen. That would be cool because I think we have something of value to pass along.
Yeah, because I do like feedback.
I do. And it's really cool that we have people listening in Poland and Russia and Japan and all over the United States. And it's only a handful of people. It's a really small group, but that's kind of how I roll with a small group of friends. I don't have a lot of friends like
well, that. The truth is that's the handful of people that are actually following. Yeah. Like I said, when I look at dig down in the statistics, there are many more people who are actually listening who are not followers. They're not following, but they are still listening.
And I think that's kind of normal.
It is. I don't follow anybody, but I'll go and listen to them.
Yeah. So we all appreciate, and I think, one day I do want to do a show of kind of like letters to our children type of show, or letters to our grandchildren or great-grandchildren or something like that. I would really love to do a show like that, and spend a lot of time thinking about it before we do it, of what we want to say to, our great-great-grandchildren, what we would want to pass on to them. Hopefully it's already been passed down through my children to their children and so on, that I had that much of an impact. That would be super cool.
Yeah, this is one of the few reasons why technology is good versus bad, because I can't stand technology. And, I'm a big fan of the classic letter, a classic picture, things like that. But this here is, it's up in the cloud. You can find it, all that kind of things.
Well, you could even delete this and it's still out there somewhere.
Right. But, I have tubs. I said this. I have tubs of pictures from family members that go way back into the 1800s. Yeah. There's nothing written on them. I have no idea who these people are. I just happen to have them. Yeah. And I'm still debating, do I hold on to them? Do I just send them somewhere? Do I just trash them? I don't know, because part of me says that's history.
I wonder if you could use AI technology and do a facial scan and say, who is this person? And see if it could figure it out.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. I've never tried that.
That'd be pretty neat. Something I did, I found a list of my basic trainees that I've trained, and I'm going through the process of running through their names through AI to see if they were what their status is, if they were KIA or wounded in action or anything, because it's really hard to keep up with all those names. But I've started doing that, and that's I haven't found any KIAs yet, so that's good. Thank God. Hopefully they're out there thinking, thank you, Drill Sergeant Hutchison, for being such a hard ass on me. It kept me alive.
Right.
So anyway, that's what I was thinking about. We have a guest coming on soon. I haven't heard back from him. Let me see. Did I? Maybe I did. And then we can announce it so people will come back. Nope. Not yet. He's big timing me. Oh. He said he might be busy. Can I let you know Tuesday? All right, so I'm not going to tease it, but we may have a guest. We haven't had a guest in a long time.
Right.
So that'll be fun. If anybody else wants to be a guest on the show, we're happy to have you. We would love to host you. We record at my house, and it's not creepy at all.
Yeah,
it's not
just
like
have something to say.
Yeah, don't just come on just to drink booze with us.
Yeah.
But we would love to have you. You can email us at showmemk@gmail.com, especially the GWAT veterans. We really want to document your experience. And I know there's a lot of guys out there be like, well, I didn't do anything special. I was just a truck driver. I was just a cook. I was just a blah, blah, blah. Whatever, dude. We want to hear your story because it's probably pretty cool. I'm sure you have something fun to pass along.
I have some that I reached out to and who all said they would do it. I have not followed up with them yet. Well, the holidays are over, so it's time to start doing it. Yeah.
We want to really get that on record and put it out there for your children, grandchildren, everybody to hear it, and especially local Missouri, southwestern Illinois folks. We want to get your stories documented. It's kind of another project of ours. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and I think that's about it right now. We're not talking about the other place, are we?
Oh, we could talk about Facebook.
All right.
So remember last week I complained that somehow we violated the community standards of Facebook, and they put us on the non-recommended list. And, well, I appealed because I went through the whole list of community standards, and like there's not a single thing that we could have violated on it. And I just got word back today that our appeal was positive, and they're sorry for the error, and we're back to normal.
Okay. Isn't that the second time that happened?
Yeah, because I had a quick, yes, you're normal, and then we got kicked down again. But I think that was part of the appeal process.
Oh, okay.
And then apparently AI does the initial check, and then it's looking for something, and I'm here to tell you, it's the word Don Rowe. I guarantee you that's what it was.
Or Tweakmints. We were making fun of those fancy lads.
Yep. I think that's what put us on the whatever their community standards, the way they feel their community standards.
Good. I'm glad to be on that list.
But we're back to normal with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And which is funny because then I got an ad right after. It said, if you give us $14, we can expand your recommendations to, it could hit another 850 people.
So it's like a mafia-style strong-arm operation. Like, hey, if you pay us, we're not going to crush your business here.
Right. So,
whatever,
I don't know.
So I guess you can go on Facebook and follow us. We do post pictures from time to time and all that kind of stuff. Kevin, what do you think about this idea? I was laying in bed, half asleep, struggling with my CPAP mask for some reason this morning. It was like
it's because you weren't drinking.
3 a.m. Definitely wasn't drinking. It was like 3 a.m, and I just had this idea.
Oh,
for us to do. So we have the little travel mics, right? We go out and we do man on the street interviews and just ask them questions like, who's the number one influence in your life and why? You know, do you believe in God? Why or why not? If let's say you woke up tomorrow with $1 million in your bank account, what would you do? You know, it's stuff that we've talked about. Just go ask people, and those could be our little short clips. We could put those out on YouTube and Facebook as shorts. But anyway, I literally got up at it was like 3:10, and I had my phone out and I was putting notes in my phone of different questions, man on the street interviews, blah blah blah, and we could come up with a cool name to do it. But I think that would be a good way for us to get out and. Hey, my name's so-and-so from the Headspace and Tasting Podcast. Can I ask you a couple questions? Never know. Might go viral. We might have to quit our jobs and do this full time.
Which is exactly counter to what we just said a minute ago.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want that. That would turn a hobby into a job, and it would suck.
Too much work.
Yeah.
Preparation.
So, yeah. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. You know the deal. We love your comments. We respond to all of them. Haven't heard from our number one listener lately. I don't know what she's up to, but you need to get back to.
Maybe she's actually getting along with her life.
Oh, I guess that's okay.
Anyway, so we've been knocking on heaven's door.
Oh my goodness!
For a little while for this show.
Dad joke.
And what are you thinking about Heaven's Door Tennessee bourbon?
The only thing I could think of was like, it's all right. Like it's kind of like Bob Dylan's music, where it's like probably going to turn it off if it comes on, but for a couple different songs, I'll listen.
Do you want me to describe what you're tasting?
Whiny mumbling, is that what you're saying? Like I got a mouthful of corn. I do like his song. Isn't that the Rolling Stone song?
Like a Rolling Stone. Yeah.
That's okay.
That's his.
I do want to watch that biography with Timothy Chalamet playing him. I think that'd be interesting.
I really like him with the Traveling Wilburys. I really like they
okay.
did.
Yeah. But his solo stuff,
and that was all about having fun.
Yeah.
That's what the Traveling Wilburys was.
I feel like that's what music should be anyway. Just have fun, right? Rock and roll and have fun. But other people...
I just like how they got together. You had Tom Petty and George Harrison.
Yeah.
And then I forget who it was. Like, I left my guitar over at somebody's house when I go get the guitar. So you go over there and get the guitar. And I think it was either Bob Dylan or was the guy from ELO. They're like, oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're just going to go jam a little bit. Oh, can I come? Like, yeah, come on.
Next thing you know,
they're all together and they're writing songs and they put out an album. And they did 2 or 3 albums together.
Wow.
And you had Roy Orbison with them.
Dude, that's a crazy group of people, man.
Yeah.
Just Tom Petty and George Harrison.
Yeah. And then Bob Dylan. And I can't remember the guy's name from ELO. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was good. So it was a lot of fun.
Cool, man.
Anyway, I'm going to give it, because we don't do halves.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a high 2.
I'm in agreement. High 2. It would be 2.5 if we were doing halves. It's drinkable. It's not disgusting. It's not the what was the standard, our low standard. What's that? The gym shoes and funky dirty laundry.
Yes. Which they're now bankrupt.
Yeah, they're bankrupt. I think we did it. I'm sorry, guys.
That was kind of ironic.
That was weird. It was like a week later, wasn't it? After our episode came out.
Yeah. But I do have a flight of Heaven's Door products that we can probably put together.
Okay.
And do that. And there's 3 or 4 different kinds of Heaven's Door.
That's my son.
Something's creaking.
One squeaky door. He's trying. You try to be so quiet, and you end up being louder than you would be.
Oh, I know. I don't even try anymore. Cool. All right.
Yeah, 2 stars. We're in agreement there. I'm not going to pour it down the drain. I'm going to finish my glass.
Be the best leader you can be. That's
right.
my final statement.
And if you don't feel like you're up to snuff, read some books, do some self evaluation, get some training.
YouTube is free.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
There's anything you want is on YouTube.
Yeah, just be careful.
Including the Headspace and Tasting podcast.
There you go. Nice, Kevin. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
Peace out.